Okay, so we are now going to make a stop in with our 13th president, Millard Fillmore. Millard Fillmore was born on January 7th, 1800, in Locke Township, New York, and passed away on March 8th, 1874, in Buffalo, New York, and was the 13th president of the United States from 1850 to 1853, whose insistence on federal enforcement of the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850 alienated the North and led to the destruction of the Whig Party. Elected vice president in 1848, he became chief executive on the death of President Zachary Taylor in July of 1850. Fillmore was born in a log cabin to a poor family and was apprenticed to a wool carder at the age of 15. He received little formal education until he was 18, when he managed to obtain 6 consecutive months of schooling. Shortly after, he secured a release from apprenticeship and started work in a law office. In 1823, he was admitted to the bar. He married his first wife, Abigail Powers, in 1826. Fillmore entered politics in 1828 as a member of the Democratic and Libertarian anti-Masonic movement and anti-Masonic party. In 1834, he followed his political mentor, Thurlow Weed, to the Whigs and was soon recognized as an outstanding leader to the party's northern wing. Following 3 terms in the New York State Assembly from 1829 to 1832, he was elected to Congress from 1833 to 1835 and 1837 to 1843, where he became a devoted follower of Senator Henry Clay. Losing the New York Governor national election in 1844, he was easily elected to the first state comptroller 3 years later. At the National Whig Convention in 1848, Zachary Taylor, hero of the Mexican War, was nominated for president and Fillmore for vice president. Largely through Clay's sponsorship, Fillmore believed that Whig's success at the polls was herald the rise of a truly national party that would occupy the middle group between sectional extremists of both North and South. This outlook was embodied in Clay's Compromise in 1850, which sought to appease both sides on the slavery issue. Fillmore, though personally opposed to slavery, supported the compromise as necessary to preserve the Union. When legislation was finally passed 2 months after Taylor's death, the new President Fillmore felt obligated to respect the provision that required the federal government to aid in capture and return of runaway slaves to their former owners, the Fugitive Slave Act of 1850, and he publicly announced that, if necessary, he would call upon the military to aid in enforcement of this statute. Although this succession of the compromise assuaged the South and had an effect of postponing the Civil War for 10 years, it was met with political death for Fillmore because its extreme unpopularity in the North. Fillmore was an early champion of American commercial expansion in the Pacific. In 1853, he sent a fleet of warships under the command of Commodore Matthew C. Perry to Japan to force shogunate government to alter its traditional isolationism and enter into trade and diplomatic regulations with the United States. The resulting Treaty of Kanagawa in 1854 led to similar agreements between Japan and other Western powers, and marked the beginning of Japan's transformation into a modern state. In 1852, Fillmore was one of three presidential candidates of Divided Wing Party in its last national election, which it lost. He ran again in 1856 as candidate of the Know Nothing Party, also known as the American Party, finishing third behind Democratic James Buchanan and Republican John C. Fremont. Fillmore then retired to Buffalo, where he became a leader in the city's civic and cultural life. In 1858, some 5 years after his death, after the death of his wife Abigail, he married Caroline Carmichael McIdish. And with that, I will see you guys in the next one.